If you watch much of our content or you watch interviews from the pros, often players say the lob is the most important shot in the game. It is a hugely tactical shot, so understanding the tactics of when and why you should be lobbing are really important. Now we're going to give you 3 lob combinations, like lob tactic combinations, that you can use in your game to help catch your opponents off guard and hopefully get yourselves into great positions at net. For each of these tactics, we're going to give you examples at a beginner level and why that might work, and at a more advanced level as well, so you can see the differences there. But all of these tactics are good regardless of your level, because it really gets you to focus on what you are doing with the lob. Whether it's the shot before or the shot after, it's hugely important that you are considering that. The first tactic is to play a Chiquita before your lob. So every time you're going to lob, you say to yourself, I'm going to play a Chiquita first, and that way, at a beginner level, it's changing the rhythm for your opponent. They might have a ball down by their feet, and so they're expecting another one down by their feet, and you use the lob. So you're changing up the variety of your shot. And at a more advanced level, it's bringing your opponent closer to the net and therefore creating more space behind them. So if you hit that Chiquita, you'll get them to move forward to pick that ball up, and every time they take a big step forward, that's 1 more meter of space that you can hit into behind them. Now, at a pro level or a high advanced level, you might often see a Chiquita and then a lob volley or a fast lob that quickly capitalizes on the fact that you've moved forward. But the combination here of a Chiquita soft down to the feet followed by a lob is great to implement at your game, whatever the level. Lob tactic number 2 is the lob, the double lob. And at a beginner level, I really like this because often players are out of position when they hit their first lob. There's a mentality that we only hit lobs as a defensive shot, particularly if you're from tennis or even not from any racket sports. Often at beginner level, players play a lob out of position. It's not a great lob, and therefore the opponent hits a bandeja. And then when you hit your second lob, you're actually in a much better position, and therefore you generally hit a much better lob. So at a beginner level, it works well because you get a second opportunity to hit a good lob, and it can catch your opponent off guard. One thing you need to be careful of though is that at a beginner level, the players come back, they hit their overhead, and they might not recover the net. So they take maybe a step or 2 in, and therefore you've got a small gap to go over their head. Don't worry about trying to hit into a really small gap, just hit up another good lob, because even if they stay here and they hit another overhead, you're still forcing them to hit an overhead further back in the court. So don't feel like you need to land it on a dime at the back of the court. At an advanced level, this is great because often players hit a bandeja and they very quickly recover that net because they know the importance of recovering the net after a bandeja. And so when you hit one lob, they come back, they hit this, and then you follow it up with another lob. They are running forward as you hit the lob past them, making them change direction, and it can be very difficult for a player to get good footing and good positioning under the ball if you're hitting that second lob to them. So it can work really well at a high, intermediate, advanced level as well, is to hit one lob followed by the next. If you enjoy thinking about tactics, then you will love our monthly member challenge this month. It is around tactics and how you can implement them within a point, but also how you can have a match strategy to beat your opponents. And every month we do a 30-day challenge. We put in 10, 11, 12 videos per month of tutorials and then give you challenges along the way. And so the tactics one is very specific in terms of, here's your tactic, go and try that out, hit the ball here, hit the ball there, get your partner to do the same, and then come back and let us know in the community. And I think during the course of this challenge month, we've suggested 7 or 8 different tactics that you can try in the game to see what works for you. So head to thepadelschool.com. There's a 7-day free trial. You can go and check it out straight away and go and check out our tactics challenge. The third tactic, and my personal favorite, if you play against me, you know that I will employ this quite a lot. I enjoy this tactic, is lobbing up, nice high lob, and then playing an angle down towards the fence. Now, at a beginner level, this is good because it's getting you to think about the next shot after the lob. So when you hit your lob, like we said, players often don't recover the net that quickly, and you've got a nice big space, big triangle of space that you can hit that next shot into. You do not need to hit this like a rolling topspin forehand or hit hard into that zone, and you don't need to be super accurate with a Chiquita that bounces an inch from the fence. You usually have quite a lot of space. So hit that lob up and then think to yourself, I'm going to hit that cross court down towards the feet. The lob also needs to go cross court because that's the player you want to force back. At a higher level, you can use it as a Chiquita. So you might again hit a nice high lob. They hit their bandaje cross court because often they are finding the angle as well. So you can either just roll a ground stroke or a medium speed Chiquita down towards the feet, or you might want to hit a really soft one down towards the fence. And either way, either it bounces, in which case they're going to be at full stretch to get to it, or they might try and take it on the volley, again forcing them out of position, and then you may even employ another lob after that. But I really like this tactic of high lob on the cross, followed by an angle down towards the feet or towards the fence. Often players don't think about practicing the lob. If you think about when you use a lob, it's often to feed an opponent a bandeja or vibra or topspin smash, and then therefore you feed a short lob so they can work on that overhead. And then you get into a game and you wonder why you're hitting the lob short. So a little tactic for your match is spend the first couple of games really perfecting the depth of your lob. Particularly if you're outdoors, there's a bit of wind, but even if you're indoors, it's good to practice at the beginning of a match, hitting nice, high, deep lobs if you can, and that way you will more likely get a better and better tactic using the lob for the rest of that match. Now, on this side, I'm going to put a link to thepadelschool.com. You can sign up, you can check out our membership, you can see our tactics challenge, which we talked about earlier. And then down here, I'm going to talk about two different types of lob, because there's not only one type of lob that you can use in a game.